Right, we're going to look at how to use random to make a very short dice program. So the idea is we want to roll a number between 1 and 6, just as if we were rolling a dice. So I'm going to start off, good practice is commenting at the top, just to say what the program is. So I'm going to go dice roll program. Notice how it goes green because I've got that hashtag in front of it, which means it knows it's a comment. If you don't put the hashtag in front of it, you'll get an error, by the way. It's also good practice to put the date, and usually it'd put who wrote the program as well. It's up to you whether you want to put your name on it. So we've commented to start it. Now, before we start with anything else, we need to import a library. The library we're going to import is random. So I'm just going to type import random. We can now use the random function. Now, to get a random number, we need a variable to store that random number in. So I'm going to call my variable dice roll. Notice there's no spaces in it. It's going to equal a random roll. So I'm going to use the random function. So I type in random and then dot, and I can type in what it is that I want after that. So random dot rand int, and I want something between 1 and 6, like that. I'm then going to print the dice roll. Like that. So what that should do, it should import the random function. It should roll a dice, come up with a random number between 1 and 6, and assign that to that variable, and then it prints whatever that variable is. So let's see if that works. We're going to run it. It gives us 3. Run it again. Gives us 3 again. This time gives us a 1, a 6, a 1, and 2, and so on. So it's given us a random dice number. So that's pretty simple, just to get it to generate a random number and print it. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. Okay. Now, if you want to take this further, you can make it loop, and you can get it to ask the user if they want to roll a dice. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to add an input in, and we're going to say answer equals input. Do you want to roll the dice? And then just make it clear what they have to type in, a Y or an N, like that. So that's going to ask them if they want to roll the dice. To then work out if we are going to roll it, we need to use an if statement for that answer. And if else we're going to use. So if answer equals a Y. So they said yes, they do. Then we're going to roll the dice. Notice how I need to tab it in so it knows it's part of that if statement. So we're doing the same as we did before, but it's part of that if. And then if we put else, we're going to print something like the dice wasn't rolled. So if you run that program now, this time I missed out my colon, so it doesn't work. So we'll try that again. So I've got the chance to say no or yes. If I put in no, it comes up the dice wasn't rolled. Put in yes, and it gives me a random number. Now, what I wanted to do is actually keep looping, so we can use something called a while loop. So I'm going to put while true, colon, and then tab everything else underneath in like that. I just highlighted it and then pressed the tab key, so that that's all part of that while loop. So what that while loop will do is while the program's running, so until I click stop, it'll just keep asking over and over again if somebody wants to roll the dice. Notice how the capital W, the W is a lowercase and the T is capital. So let's find out what happens. Do you want to roll the dice? I'll say no. The dice wasn't rolled, but then it asks me again because it's looping. No. It asks me again. Yes. Gives me a 1. Yes. Gives me a 4. No. Doesn't roll it, and so on. So that'll just keep looping until we press that stop button, which means the user doesn't have to run the program over and over again. So this is what I'd like you to have a go at making. So by all means, try the easy bit first, the easier bit, and just get the dice to roll. Remember, import random, dice roll equals random.randint, and then print the dice roll. But then try to build in the if statement, so you can ask if they want to roll the dice. Then try to build in the loop to see if you can get it to keep looping. Good luck.